So here we are. I'm Stephen Carlson. This is Working from the Heart. And today's topic is I'm afraid I'll lose my job. Quick background. The thoughts that we hold in awareness and also in our subconscious mind, these thoughts, emotions, stories, beliefs, can limit us in our effectiveness in life, and in this case, in particular, in our job, career, business, however it is we engage with the world, our work. So, in the month of August, we're playing with all these kinds of ideas, stories, and using the Sedona method, we can unlock a little freedom each time. So, all you need is a willingness to be, to examine, to play with, to explore these ideas. And it's good to have a place where you won't be disappointed, where you won't be interrupted. So if you need to pause the video, this could be a good time. And when you're ready, take a deep breath and allow yourself to settle, allow yourself to be just as you are, just for now. Just let things be. And now, the statement, I'm afraid I'll lose my job. So allow yourself to think of memories, to notice what comes up with the statement, I'm afraid I'll lose my job. For some of us, it could be immediately electrifying. Just notice any kinds of, notice the reaction of the body. Notice any thoughts, images, sounds, stories, beliefs. Notice what comes up. Just allow it to be here. And if you can, just give it permission to be like that for a moment longer. And also, if you can, open yourself with a little curiosity. Good. Now for most of us, you'll notice immediately a no, a feeling of, I don't want to experience this, a turning away, possibly a trying to figure out. So just notice this desire to control the experience. And one word for all of this is simply resistance. So can you welcome resistance? Give it permission. And notice how resistance feels in the body. And notice what kinds of mental activity is going on. And then notice also how personal it feels. I'm afraid I'll lose my job, of course, involves me, that sense of self, that sense of the individual fighting against a cruel and heartless world. So let it feel as personal as it seems to feel. Good. So, clearing the throat. So now, once again, let's start from the beginning. Just allow yourself to feel that statement, I'm afraid to lose my job. And now, notice how the mind works. The mind eagerly steps up to offer pictures, scenarios, how this will happen. Maybe there's something that you said. Maybe there's something that you didn't do, or you did do. Maybe. So notice how the mind engages easily, eagerly, to try to find out what the possibilities are, where the danger is coming from. And so notice how the mind works. The mind really is all about protecting us. And it does have some uses. For example, if you're half asleep and you hear a growling sound, it just might be a bear. Maybe not in today's modern world, but the mind is an ancient instrument. So it does help us to stay alive in some ways, but in our modern lives, it just tends to overcomplicate things. There aren't that many bears around, at least not where I live, but the mind is looking for problems in, well, the workplace. So look at the mind, notice the mind, creating scenarios of doom. I'm afraid I'll lose my job. And notice how the body responds to this, how the mind just becomes more squirrely and unmanageable, the thoughts that come up, the stories, possibly even a sense of panic. So just allow it all to be here, if that's what's coming up. Again, don't make this up if it's not happening, but allow what is to come. And then check and see, is it possible that even with this small time that we've spent, things have shifted slightly? Is it exactly the same as it started? And once again, I allow myself, excuse me, the statement, let's repeat the statement, I'm afraid I'll lose my job. Just notice the reaction that comes up there. And let's pay particular attention now to what's happening in the body. So if you can, just turn your focus into what's happening in the body and notice how the body feels. I'm afraid I'll lose my job. So this kind of feeling can express somewhere here in the front of the body. It could be any kind of tension, even a headache. It can be any sense of discomfort. So check and see. If you can, welcome the body's reaction. Just give it permission, since it's that way. Open yourself and allow that just as best you can. And then shift your attention to whatever is happening in the left pinky. Your smallest finger is your pinky. So shift your attention to whatever is happening and appearing in this tiny little finger, and let that be your full and complete focus, just as best you can. Full attention on that little finger, the left hand. And then, once again, focus on any sense of discomfort in the body, any reaction to, I'm afraid I'll lose my job. And check, is it the same or is it shifted? Is it shifting? It's very important to notice the progress that's being made, because if you're like most people, just focusing on any sensations in the body allows them to dissipate, allows them to shift. But then check and see. Is there any sense that you want this to happen more quickly? Is there any desire to push this, accelerate this? Any desire to control what's happening? Because wouldn't that be natural? Could you also open to that? Give yourself permission to feel that sense of wanting to control the body's reaction. Because the body does what it wants. This particular body might be sneezing in a second. We don't know. We don't quite know. Maybe not. And then one more check here. Check and see. Are you the body? Is that really you? If you cut off the arm, are you any less or any more? Are you that body? Or are you aware of sensations? Sensations rather localized here that seem to be a body. Good. So, let's take one more approach with the time remaining. Welcome again that sense of, I'm afraid I'll lose my job. And just notice what comes up. Notice also any sense that it might have shifted. I'm afraid I'll lose my job. Good. And now, if you're ready for a stretch, would you let go of wanting this to happen? Now, you may not consciously want it to happen, but nevertheless, just go along with it and see what happens. Would you let go of wanting all of this to happen? Could you let go of wanting all this to happen? And when? Good. So, very often, well, there's an expression, what we fear appears. And those of you who are interested in the topic of manifestation will certainly be familiar with the idea that our thoughts become reality. So, in that sense, it's kind of good to lean into our fears by letting go of that desire to make them real, even if that desire isn't conscious. So, that's it for now. Remember, you can always go back and watch this recording again to gain even further levels of freedom. And if you're interested in more, there's a link in the comments or in the description to my course, which is called Working from the Heart. That's it for now. See you soon.